Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rutech, and today we will be talking about AMD's new 3100 and 3300X and what they mean for the average consumer. These processors are a huge leap for gamers and will make gaming even more affordable than before. In this video, I will simplify and explain what these processors exactly mean for budget gamers, as that is what these processors are not only aimed for, but most of my subscribers are on a budget as well, so I want to clarify some things for you guys. But before we dive straight into it, I would really appreciate it if you checked out my channel. I post PC tech videos among other things. Also, have any comments or questions as the video goes along, be sure to drop a comment, like the video, drop a like, and if you enjoy the content you're seeing, drop a sub. Really helps out the channel. So, I love AMD's Ryzen lineup. They cater to every single type of gamer, whether you have $350 to spend on a true budget rig or want to buy a NASA computer. And with the new addition of the 3100 and 3300X, they take it even farther than that. Pretty much every single third generation Zen 2 processor has been sitting at a $200 and above price point since their release, which is another reason why the 3100 and 3300X are pretty groundbreaking. I like to think of the release of these processors as a comparable situation to when the original Ryzen 1200, which released for $109, and the 1300X, which released for $139, came out. They introduced brand new, cheap, quad-core, high thread count processors for budget gamers at reasonable prices. It was unexpected and amazing, to keep it short. So now fast forward to 2020, over half a year after the release of Ryzen's third generation processors, we finally have refreshed budget processors with the new Zen 2 7nm architecture that everyone wants to have their hands on. So now let's talk about these processors individually. First up, the Ryzen 3 3100. The Ryzen 3100 on its full release will start at $99. This is even less than what the first gen 1200 released for. A quick rundown on its specs: has 4 cores, 8 threads, base clock of 3.6 GHz, and a boost clock of 3.9 GHz, and is unlocked, so you can go ahead and overclock this thing too. I've heard it has a lot of flexibility when it comes to overclocking, and it has that beautiful 7nm architecture that puts AMD processors a while ahead of competition, and even comes with AMD's great stock cooler. Now, if you're familiar with what all these terms mean, you know that these are some pretty hot specs, but otherwise, let me simplify it for the rest of you. The 3100, in short, is a full package plus some more for its price. It's overclockable beyond its boost clock of 3.9 GHz, which means you can run it even faster than it's supposed to. It won't bother you with absurd bottleneck frame drops, and can seriously compete with Intel's higher end processors if you're gaming. For example, the 3100 will only see a small average frame per second difference when put up against an i5 7600K, which was a medium to high end processor back when it was released in the first half of 2017. Now, I myself have the i5 7600K, so I'm feeling a little bit saddened knowing that my processor is slowly being pushed out of sight, kind of like those coin pushing machines you see at those arcade places. Yeah, boohoo. Anyway, enough about the 3100. I am sure you can now understand that the 3100 is a fantastic processor for its price. But there's another one right up the same alleyway for only $20 more and a significant performance difference: the Ryzen 3 3300X. So yeah, alongside the 3100, like I've said, AMD is also releasing the 3300X. So let's talk about that. Similar to the 3100X, it has 4 cores, 8 threads, it has a 3.8 GHz base clock, a 4.3 GHz boost clock. So one of the biggest differences from the 3100 for a $20 difference is already very apparent. It is of course unlocked and has the Zen 2 architecture as expected. So this thing is $120. It competes with high-end processors like the i7 7700K, which came out in the first half of 2017 for an MSRP of $350. In my opinion, you should avoid the 3100 and sell Lemonade for an extra $20. It has significantly higher Senate benchmarkings and will run games at a higher average frames per second. For example, playing a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 will give you 10 more frames per second on average versus the 3100 when using the 3300X. And of course, if all that I mentioned wasn't enough, if you grab these, you'll be able to upgrade down the road. Third generation Zen 2 processors are very future-proof, so if one day the 3100 or 3300X becomes not enough for your needs, you can of course overclock them for starters, but if you don't want to and just want to straight up upgrade your CPU, then you can just go ahead and buy a 3rd gen Ryzen 5 or 7, which are great options. Now, a wise old man told me 2,000 years ago, "He who spends 5 on thy CPU shall spend 10 on his graphics card." Now, what he was trying to communicate was that you should spend double what you spent on your processor on your video card to avoid bottleneck issues or big frame drops. I can tell you from experience This is facts. Because a long time ago, I thought it would be fine to pair a G4560 $60 Pentium processor with a $200 GTX 1060. Yeah, it wasn't. To wrap it up, long story short, if you plan on building a budget PC, wait at least one more month. You will want to be getting your hands on a Zen 2 3rd gen budget CPU instead of a 1600 AF. So that'll do it for this quick rundown video. I want you guys to try and stay educated on these topics. If you're planning on building a PC, it could save you a good chunk of money and give you even better performance than you originally planned to get with what your budget is. So keep your eyes open for these new processors, budget gamers. I wish I could have taken this advice a while ago, because when I built my first PC, it was pretty crashy, simply because I didn't really know what parts to pick. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Have any comments or questions, drop a comment below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And if you enjoy the content you're seeing, drop a sub. Thanks for watching. Peace out.